Hello and welcome to Roll the Story, the Claude Coast arc. The party are all here. We have a full cast. Woohoo! So, last session, you guys managed to win the race, claim your prizes, and start to make your way across the desert with one of the guards of Ghaidiyan named Ross Froskar. He is going to. He has effectively promised you to get these visas so that you can get into the city, even if you're not someone who would be normally deemed entry. Uh, Along the way, you guys found a strange desert filled with swords, and the stench was awful. This was the former battlefield of long past wars in Guardia's history and the Claude Coast history at large. Um, yeah, it was almost like the stench of death still lingered on the battlefield somehow. There's many rumors surrounding it, but for the most part, you guys didn't really encounter any dangers. Though the air was awful, you actually will manage to pass your constitution saves. There was no diseases or anything like that. So, and along the way, you saw one massive sword that stuck out of the ground. It was like hundreds of feet tall, possibly wielded by a giant, maybe even larger, Titan-esque in size. And eventually, you came to what's known as the Shimmy River, which is the river that kind of spans some portion of the Claude Coast and separates kind of for itself. Like, but anyway, you you saw that there was a ship in need of aid, one that was stuck, and you rushed to the aid. This was
Yes, the
a
Zeus.
yes, the Zeus. This was actually a prison barge, but it does also transport goods as well from many different cities. So at first, you were kind of a bit stumped, trying to use wind, trying to use raw strength to push it free. And a couple of these were getting headway, but you're realizing it was going to take too long. And finally, Irina used the helmsman's shield, the actual wheel, magical wheel that can manipulate ships and literally turn them in the water. So with that, kind of solved the issue of any skill challenges. You managed to just turn the ship magically and free it from the bank. One or two of the prisoners tried to escape, but I believe was it Carius who quickly swooped in and
Yeah.
detained them.
Yeah, I'm just like, nope. Like, just understepped in front of them and just like,
Exercising magic that probably not very many people have seen, being able to scatter them back to the boat. And as a thanks, you were given a free ride all the way to the city in style. And you arrived in the port amongst other huge trading vessels, extravagant looking boats with um, decorated sails. A lot of them are using Genetti's innate wind magic to sort of propel sails, and others use water mills and like water wheels to actually push them, and they seem to be like water Genetti as well. But as you came up to the gates, instead you were greeted with a fire and earth Genasi. So you've already seen all four elements in this place already, and they began their checks one by one. I think, Karis, you were welcome. You're a familiar visitor here.
yep.
Showed the
I,
details. And,
I, I, I knew the secret handshake.
yeah, exactly. And they welcomed you. And of course, Irina was also given free entry because of their credentials as one of the Magus' apprentices. And you claimed that you had several assistants with you. One of them was very unsavory, however, and I did not approve of Llewellyn's book, calling it the most grisly thing they've ever seen, and that if they bring that out in public, it will cause quite a stir.
That was a compliment.
The book was okay though.
No, no, the
I agree.
true. They did confiscate your poisons, however, and have sealed them away inside a vault. Kishan, you were a little bit of a shaky
I
one as
did
well.
for me.
Yeah, for you.
You did well until you opened your mouth at the end.
Stay
Right.
spicy.
Or at the start.
No, may your day be as spicy as your last.
And although you seemed amicable, the Ganassi was very unsure about the thing you were trying to bring in. You were claiming it was some sort of antique at first, and this was an egg. And they have strict regulations on bringing in exotic animals. So they brought out the Wrangler, who was this heavy-set Genasi, who thumped his way in with these weighted nets. And as soon as he saw it, even he was head-scratching for a moment. Couldn't figure out what kind of animal it belonged to. In the end, you got one of the magic users here to identify it. One of the more kind of intellectual-looking guards. And he seemed to confirm that this is more like a figurine of power than an actual creature, an actual animal. So, yeah. You didn't do any favors for yourself trying to word it, but they seemed to like understand that it was just magic items, not an actual creature. Anyway, yeah, you were finally let in after that. That there, that leaves Andy and of course Yurayun to enter the city. So I think we're about to do Andy's next because of course this is your second assistant, isn't it?
Well, Llewellyn's my apprentice, Andy is my assistant.
Ah, I see. The whole backstory sorted.
Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
took them to one side beforehand, and I was like, "You're my apprentice, you're my assistant."
I'm like the apprentice on the arcane side.
Yeah. But before we get to that, there is one last thing. Because, Irina, as you come through customs and you're sort of standing on the other side,
I would be waiting for Andy. I wouldn't.
Of course,
going
yeah.
through until she's ready.
but you can still see where they are from here. Except you're just sort of through the archway, effectively.
You've gotten
And
past the
from-
metal detector.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But from this side, you can see that the two guards also have sort of a billboard behind their desk, and you couldn't see it from the other side. You can see it from here. All these kind of pinned posters, letters, documents, all these different rules and such. And among them, there are wanted posters.
Oh shit. do I see Andy anywhere on there?
You see them at probably the top of the list. Like they are clearly in view. They have made this, unlike the other ones where it's in the pirate cove, you had them kind of buried beneath. This one is so blatantly obvious, you'd have to really be blind to miss it.
What did
It-
you do?
It is a depiction of a slightly older looking Andy with
So it's
their
her
hair.
mother, basically.
It is, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's okay, we can just slap a fake mustache on her.
I'm literally like, that was kind of my idea. I was just gonna literally lean to Lavelle. I was like, is there any way that you can maybe alter that poster?
Give the poster a mustache.
He walks over with a pen.
No, not like that.
Like, what do you want
I
me
meant
to
from
do?
like a distance. Can you? I don't know.
Get Mage
minor
Hand a pen
illusion
over.
over the front of it or
I
something.
I couldn't major image it, I guess.
Do you know what? No, I don't have to turn Mage Hand. Mine's visible. God damn it.
I can cast
What?
invisibility on you if you want to go do it invisibly.
No, like these people
Right.
can probably sense you walking. They're genasi. They're like elementals.
I cast disintegrate on the fly. No.
It's such a waste. But it would work.
Would Carius have noticed this wanted poster as he was walking past?
Yeah, both of you, as you've come through and you've turned around waiting for the rest of you to come through, is when you would see it all.
Wait, you said it was a recent poster.
I didn't say it was a recent
You
poster,
said it
but I
was
did
new.
say it was at the foremost of them all. It doesn't look recent, but
It
it's
just looks
definitely
more highlighted.
exactly.
It's the most
Right.
prominent one
It's
there.
more. It's like centered.
I have a
amongst
quick
them.
question. Like, we
Mhm.
wouldn't have put Andy's real name on her visa, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. What name I put on my visa?
That's up to you, Andy, because you were given
Well,
this
because
little.
obviously, technically, if she's
envelope.
my assistant and she works for the library, her name would be Irina as well, and then she'd have her moniker.
Okay.
Like, obviously, you've got Irina Strange. That's obviously not her real name.
So
Sure.
she's got
Like,
So
every
She's
girl
called
at the
Monica.
library is called Irina, and
called
then
Monica.
you've got...
Yeah.
I get it. So you could have come up with one prior to that.
Okay. Is
What would-
it windy at all? Is there a breeze at all?
On the port, yeah, there is effectively a breeze.
Okay. This is a really good question because it says I can subtly control the weather around me as part of my storm guide thing. Is it obvious when I'm doing that?
I would say not to a normal race, but there's potential that they are used to genasi, and wind
Yeah.
elementals are one thing they would come across.
Okay, are there any water genasi walking past the board?
Water ones.
Yeah.
No, because you currently are going in single file, being let through one at a time.
Okay.
It's not like a crowd of people or anything like that. This is very strict, meticulous.
So
I
there's
would-
no way I could accidentally bump into a water genasi and knock them into the poster, soaking it.
No, not really.
Can Sorrow do a spy mission and bounce along to the poster and then draw like mustaches on?
Potentially,
Because he's a little diddy little quill. He could.
he would have he'd have to try and avert their eyes though, because it does look like they check the posters as new faces come up to
The
the
issue with doing something like that is if you draw attention to it and they spot it, they're going to immediately look at that one particular poster and be like, oh.
What if you minor illusion one of the other patrons as another person on the list?
How long has Andy been out of the country?
Just so you know, minor illusion can create a 5-foot illusion of anything.
Major illusion is what I have.
Week was the
Yeah.
first place she went to when she left.
So maybe a year or so?
Every other wanted person I want to create in a crowd, running through the entrance.
Are all of the fire genasi on the wanted posters
We've not
wanted
even
for arson?
we've not even entered the city yet. Don't start causing trouble yet.
As a distraction, that's what I
We're
do.
better off just like leaving it, and if she gets spotted, I will talk our way out of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have anything that I think would help here.
How many guards are there?
You come up with about 5 solutions.
But none of
All
them
of
are
them
going
will
to work.
involve a roll. So don't think that just because I said, oh, that's not as subtle as you think, doesn't mean you can't get away with it, right?
No, I'm
Okay.
not saying that. What I'm saying is we don't want trouble with the authorities.
Actually-
we're not even in the city yet.
I realise this is going, like, maybe reversing time a little bit. Because we're not stupid, and I'm proficient in a disguise kit, would I have been able to have disguised her before we...
No,
your
I'm going to
felt
say no
felt.
because effectively this is, as you've come through, you turn, you've got the guards have got their back to you, and they're looking at their rules and their list, and that's when you see the post and you realise, they might now recognise Andy.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll be
I
fine.
still think the mustache idea is our best bet.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to need the distraction so
But
we
the
can
thing
get
is,
Sorrow over there.
you can't have any kind of magic illusion over Andy because they're just going to see it.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So there's no point. We might as well just talk our way out of it. If it comes to it.
Okay, best of both worlds. You talk your way out of it. Llewellyn, draw that mustache.
You just want the mustache.
I
Yes.
just want the mustache.
Okay.
So we're gonna have.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna do the other wanted people. I'm gonna do a rogue griffin carrying a citizen, like by the claws instead of a riding person. It's basically, a rogue griffin to distract them. Gonna sweep
Okay.
and try and fly out to the
That's
city.
not a must.
And
And at the same time, while they're all distracted, Sorrow is going on a stealth mission.
okay, I like it. So
Carius is going to walk away at this point.
Oh, where's the
So-
walking while this is happening?
good
Yeah,
question.
Carius is leaving you.
Yeah, this
Is
isn't.
this major image, yeah?
Yes.
And has it just click it in the chat for me?
You're
I
fine.
believe-
You're fine. Just let them carry.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I believe it is all three, but the somatic won't be seen because that's what I
It
get.
is verbal. Okay.
Yeah, so
Alright.
I'm just like, but I have walked away because I can cast it from a distance.
You can, yeah. It's up to what? 120. Wow.
Yeah.
120 feet. Ooh. Okay, cool. So you kind of get to the end of the spell's range then, and you're like trying to cast it out of eyesight and out of earshot. So this is what happens then. So Andy, you've got the robe of stars turned inside out at this point.
Mhm.
Do you have like the hood up as well?
No, I would have tucked the hood on the inside, so it looks like it hasn't got a hood.
Okay. So as you approach, you see there is a fire genasi. His fingers are steepled, and he's watching you as you approach. His hair is like a thin candle-like hair. It's not like wavy and wild. It's very like clean-looking flame. The other one sitting next to him is a human, and he has a set of spectacles, and he has even got a spell book out in front of him, kind of like flicking through the pages. And he beckons you forward. And the table
She just
itself
walks
is
over like, this is normal. This is fine. She looks pretty relaxed actually, because she's putting on this persona. So, and I get again a +1 to rolls on deception and performance when I'm passing myself off as another person. So,
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Cool.
because I
You
have
feel-
the actor feat.
Active feats, nice. All right.
Mhm.
So yeah, you approach nonchalantly, and
You can change your accent as well, can't you?
I can do.
Mm.
okay.
Let's see
You
if
can mimic someone else's. Speech.
I'm not gonna try and mimic Arena's accent though. I can't do a Scottish accent.
I think it'd be a bit weird if Andy had a Scottish
Yeah.
accent. Let's face it.
Yeah, that'd be strange. So there's no air of suspicion about you as you approach, and as you come to the table, everyone else has kind of been standing at a good height. But as you come up to the table, it's massive. You can see like only your shoulders come up to the edge of it. It's shaped in kind of like a wave as well, and each leg of the table is like this mermaid holding it up. And as you come up to it,
Do you have a block I could stand on? I
they
can't
look
see under
around.
the table.
The fire genasi says, "Ah, yes, get the gnome stool." And
I
they,
take offense to that. I'm not a gnome. I'm just small.
this earth genasi kind of actually just shapes the ground underneath you, such like a block of stone, lifts you up for a moment.
Would you like me to describe it, or shall I fetch you a ball?
And yeah, you're standing at the desk, and the fire genasi says, "Ah, a native, perhaps. You look like you're from around here."
Apparently I was, but I was taken in at the library, so I don't know.
The library in the Dry Oasis, I take it.
Yes,
Hmm.
that's the one. It's where I met Irina, the other Irina. I'm also Irina, just to make things confusing.
Yes, that doesn't make our job any easier, I can tell you.
If you
And,
want, just call me Scale. That's my last name.
All right, Scale. Let's see your documents. You hand over the visa, and they start unfolding it and looking at it. And he passes it to the human who kind of adjusts his spectacles and reads through the proper documentation. And as he turns to you, he asks, "And so your business here in Ghaidiya is?" And he kind of gestures towards behind Irina.
Well, I am her assistant, so I kind of have to go where she goes.
I see. I see.
I'm still in training, you see, so.
He kind of eyes you up and lets that last line kind of linger in the air, and he's clearly like inciting you. So you can roll a deception check.
Hey, you. I know your face.
And of course, this will get an extra +1 as well.
Well, I've got the new gold dice out. Oh
Oh.
well, 5 on the dice, but a 19 in total. Jeez, expertise, everyone. So that's crazy. So he says, "Right, I see." And just as he starts to lean down, he's looking down at he's about to look at the billboard, and then suddenly, Jamie, was it a griffin? Right. Describe to me what your illusion looks like.
A griffin that is holding onto a person, so they're dangling underneath. Basically, cut loose
Yeah.
and sweeps over the entrance and keeps going.
They're trying to make it through the customs.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, God, that's going to cause an absolute ruckus then. So
Distraction.
the image creates sound, it creates sense. It's effectively as real as like an actual griffin, but as soon as someone interacts with it is when it will be obvious that it's an illusion. So
Plus screaming.
yeah, plus the screaming. So as soon as they're kind of looking you up and down, they're about to speak again. That is when a massive swooping pair of wings comes soaring down over the long line of people trying to get through. There's a screeching sound as a griffin opens its beak, and a screaming sound as this person dangling from the stirrups is like flooding through. Yeah, and everyone like turns around. They're like, "What the?" And they look up, and as this ballista starts like to turn and aim, I'm guessing you've created the illusion like quite suddenly, so they wouldn't have had a time to like even shoot it. As it kind of flies under the archway, the Earth Nazi's like, "What? I'll stop it!" And he grabs a hold of that weighted net I mentioned earlier, and he's going to try and stop it. But at this point, you have an opportunity to use Quincy. So
Sorry.
go ahead and roll me a stealth check with advantage.
Does the griffin have a mustache?
Well, that's a good question, doesn't
So what's interesting question?
it?
Does Sorrow have a stat block?
No, but
what's his plus?
hold on.
Tiny little feather
I
bouncing along.
think I have an idea of what it might be like. So I'm going to take this.
Because I've never used Sorrow in anything but just
You
copy.
can have +1 to dex.
With advantage, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that only rolled 1 for some reason, even though I clicked advantage.
Just because you've got 1d20.
Oh,
1d20, keep the highest of 1.
okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my, same thing twice.
Yeah, same thing twice. Wow.
Quincy says 9.
Ah, that's rough. Oh god. Okay.
But he's not going to make a lot of noise, is it?
No. And they're not necessarily looking, by the way.
Exactly, so, you know. The moment he gets spotted, he just flops onto the floor like a normal feather would.
Okay. So God Lord. The 2. Alright. Yeah. What the hell? Even with a bad roll, somehow.
Oh, you
Then-
broke up. badly
Yeah.
then from Chris.
My bad.
So
Music. So what happens is this griffin flies through the tunnel, this archway. The wrangler, who's this massive earth genasi, throws the weighted net in the direction of the griffin, and it passes straight through. And he looks kind of confused for a moment, but the human-looking wizard type seems to sort of narrow his eyes and then raises an eyebrow, and he says, "Calm down. Looks like it's just an illusion." And he looks down across the crowd of people, trying to determine who it was who just cast that spell.
oh,
But of
because they
course,
think it's someone trying to come in.
yeah, they think it's they wouldn't suspect someone behind them doing it.
Yeah.
They're kind of
Someone's
like
already
standing up.
been let through.
Yeah. So Quincy, not Quincy. You make me do it now. Sorrow would get over, and he'd draw a mustache, devil horns, monocle, beard, the whole shebang.
So basically, make it look like it's. You need to scribble the name out too.
That too.
So,
Okay.
am I good to go through? Or
It's called. They're called.
Hold on! Nobody else move! He shouts, and he stops everyone in their tracks, and he says, "Everyone back up 20 feet." And then they sort of like call the guards, and several more fire genasi start to flank the line of people. And one of them says,
Andy's giving you evil glares at the moment, Llewellyn.
I'm 120 feet away. I don't know what you're on about.
I know it's part of your job and everything, but I have an appointment to keep with the vizier. Could we? I need my assistant.
And I'm trying to do my job here as well."
I'm not being aggressive. I'm literally just being like, I know you're just doing your job. But
And there's now like 5 guards on either side of the line of people,
Oh my
and they
God.
say, "Any more funny business, and we'll just shut this whole city down, locking the gates. No one else will be allowed in.
When
Don't
that
need any more of you tricksters." And they seem to be shouting and telling this to the crowd of people, not you guys.
when they say that though, the griffin poofs out of existence.
Okay, yeah. The wrangler's just like, what? Looking around confused, kind of scratching his head, and the fire genasi begins to sit back down, sort of lets out a sigh, and smoke kind of sizzles from the top of his head. He leans back to his other guard and says, "Bet you it was one of those water genasi. Damn tricksters." Now,
That's racist.
he sits down and looks across and looks at you, Andy, and says, "All right, Irina, Scale. Everything seems to be in order, correct?" He like confirms with his other guard, and he does look down to the actual posters, and he looks at them for a moment.
Sees Pete.
Sees Pete, and he just stares at them for just a good moment, and he looks back up, and then he kind of does a double take and looks down at the picture again.
Pirate Pete.
Yeah, Quincy, because he did this quite fast and hurriedly, I'm gonna say, give me Quincy's best,
Performance check.
performance. Now, unlike stealth, he's only got a +1. This one he will have at least a +4 in. I'll say he's literally made for this.
Oh yeah, because he's like a master of calligraphy.
Exactly, yeah. He's
Is that with advantage or without?
not with advantage, but just a straight roll with +4. Nice. Okay.
19.
So yeah, even though it was really hastily drawn, it's beautiful, and there's not a single like scratchiness to the art. It's all like perfectly symmetrical in places where it needs to be. The mustache is a clean stroke, and in addition to that, he's made it look like the same style, because obviously he's great at copying things. He's
Good
made
you
it
turned
even
it
look
into
like
a tiefling, to be fair. The mustache, the horns.
we're gonna like be traveling through the city at some point and see someone exactly like that get taken out.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do? No.
It's Pirate Pete. Get it.
From the Simpsons movie. Oh my my god, it's them!
Yes. Yeah.
I rolled a 2 for the perception, a 3 for the insight here. This guy just looks at it for a moment, double takes, looks down, looks up at you, Andy, looks down, even leans in.
Excuse
Uh,
you.
Move along. You're free to go in.
Thank you.
Looks confused with
She
himself.
hops down off the stool, carries on.
Have a nice day.
Jesus
May the
Christ.
sun bathe you. All right, next. And at this point, the line continues, and you guys
I
walk
give
in.
Lavelle a smack across the back of the head when we're outside.
Utter idiot!
Not even in the bloody city yet, and you're causing problems with the authorities.
I made it work. We got Andy in. What's the problem?
You almost didn't.
Well,
Do you know what's
if you'd seen
great?
that poster, you wouldn't have got in.
This only lasts for a minute. I'll give him a smack as well. Give me a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
What's he doing?
With disadvantage?
Yeah.
Because he chalked his hands up.
Oh.
Oh lord!
Why
Doesn't that
dog?
do something else other than stunning them? Doesn't it like steal their dreams or something?
Okay, Lavellin's gonna be there for 6 seconds. Let's go.
Just because I can, Karis is gonna pull out a fake moustache and pull it on Lavellin whilst he's stunned.
Yes, there we
I'm
go.
fine with that. I'm fine with that. But
All right. The
You're-
last
you're-
one to get through is Yuriyun, and as he
Oh,
approaches,
right, yeah.
yeah, as you're walking up, he says, "Hey, wait! Don't forget." Sorry, my friends have completely forgotten about me, but it's no worries. Here's my visa. And they look at you. They look at him and they go, "A dragonborn, huh? Don't get many of you around here, but there was a few brass ones in the other day. Tell me, you haven't seen any brass dragons out of the open sea, have you?" And he looks back down at the wanted posters, and at this point, he picks out one of them. He actually takes it off, and then slides it across the table. "We're looking for a missing captain. Don't know how much your dragonborn can talk to one another, but yes, the whole ship has gone missing out at sea.
Oops.
What it does to us." And Yurion's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a blue dragonborn, and well, they're not exactly friends of ours, shall we say." Fine. And he looks at him and says, "What's your business here in Ghaidiyan?" And he says, "Well, I'm just looking to spend all of my bags and bags of gold. I heard there's a casino in town." And they kind of look and say, "Here for pleasure, I see." "Yes." You know what? He's got plus. Just check his charisma actually, real quick.
Well, he is magnetic, so you'd think he'd be pretty
for
good.
sure. But as soon as he mentions the idea of bringing wealth to the city, they seem to be much more like the word welcoming. Yeah, he's got +9 on his saving throw, so he's got +4 to that. So that's 17, which is easily enough to pass the DC. They say, "I see. Yes, we get all your types here. Just make sure you don't lose all your gold. There are prices to pay in Ghaidiyan for ones who do not pay their due or debt." And again, he kind of gestures towards a large prison, which, for Kelsey's sake, I'll describe again. When that prison barge arrived, prisoners were led off to a large, dark building, like it's painted black on the exterior. And as they opened the doors and shoved them in, there was this kind of wave of heat that wafted out. Yeah, it's almost like a torturous building to be absorbing all the heat in this place. And he says, "Of course, I'll make sure to measure myself." "Good. You're free to enter as well, Yuri." Yoryu. Is it pronounced Yoryu? He says, that's right. And he's allowed in. Natural charisma, he gets straight on through.
See, that prison sounds both like a torturous place unless you're like a fire genasi, in which case it sounds like an exquisite hotel.
Yeah, I guess they put those in a different one. They put them in the ice bucket.
Sounds like boiling rock.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Similar to that.
So the party is all at one. You pass through this grand archway, and immediately as you enter in, there is an explosion of color. There are tapestries and flags. There is foliage and exotic-looking plants everywhere you look. And atop the buildings is when you realize there's almost like small gardens atop each of these buildings. And everything looks so perfectly symmetrical. There's just this air of organization and streamlined architecture that you don't see one faulty looking building, you don't see a crack in the stonework. Everything is meticulously well designed and crafted.
They have like those hospital lines that lead you where you need to go.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's painted across the ground. Although all the buildings are made of like a whitish pale stone, they've definitely decorated it with as much color on the floor as possible. And the main thing that takes up the biggest eyesight is this huge building that just extends up into the skyline. And it's the same one you saw when you first arrived. And to anyone who's been to Ghaidiyan before, such as Irina, you know this as the what is it? This is called the Kabiri Tower, and it is, from your knowledge, the largest building in the entire world. And it's about 1,300 foot tall, and it's named after a cactus, which yeah.
I think he's compensating for something.
See, I was thinking the exact same.
I'm not compensating.
No, it's Lord Farquaad. It's a line from Shrek.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but
After a
yeah, and it means magnificent. And it's said that atop the very heights is not only the palace of the Sultan, but also his own private, like garden. He's got just a massive stretch of land, probably like at least 2 acres up there, probably more.
It's easy enough. We just fly up and go have a look-see.
Well, all around you do see the flapping of wings. There
Yeah, I
are
was
a
gonna say
patrol
no.
of griffins, and they're in a formation as they kind of swoop around the heights of the building. It's so damn tall, you can even see a cloud about midway up.
Do they do a loop-de-loop every now and then?
Why not? Yeah.
Can I ask in particular, what's the smell of this place like?
The smell is spices, because as soon as you walk in, there are clearly stools set up for food. People who've just done a long, weary travel want to get their munch on, so there's spice in the air. And what else?
Sean starts doing the cat sneeze.
And they're already kind of like calling you over as well. They're like, try! We have every vibrant taste you can imagine. And then another one's trying to like outdo them as well, and they're saying like, free samples!
Free samples?
Yeah. Circles everywhere.
Okay, I don't really need to say it to Andy, but like Llewellyn has the highest perception next to Andy as well. So I'm just gonna, because obviously I've got a lot of money on me that we need to keep. So be like, just keep your eye out in case someone tries to pickpocket me.
Don't we have a bag of holding?
No, Chris won't let us have one.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I forgot about that.
We did have two.
Oh, he specifically won't let us have a handy haversack.
Yeah.
He said nothing about a bag of holding.
Hey Cam, do you remember the days where we had 2 bags of holding and the haversack?
Yeah.
Good
Might
time.
be pleasantly surprised this time.
Good
Yeah, but
time.
the problem is you guys didn't use them the way we did.
No.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get to touch them.
We didn't realise it was the
Yeah,
ultimate murder
And
weapon.
also we never got to touch them.
We never got to touch them.
I'm just gonna make a point to say, okay, I'm gonna give everybody like 100 gold, like pocket money.
I don't need it.
Yeah, I was gonna say except for Kashan because he doesn't really need it.
I'll take that 100 gold.
Fine.
I would just say
But-
Kashan hasn't mentioned to anyone how much he has on him.
Of course he doesn't.
Yeah, but he's already said he doesn't need the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be like, it's okay. I don't need to spend anything.
I'm going to assume it's just because you're a monk and you're like,
Yeah.
"No, I do not need material things.
I do not need material things. I am higher in life.
But you could get like a nice sash for Egbert, like to store him in.
Oh, like the first shiny thing we walked past, Kashan's probably like,
I'm
ooh.
trying to get inside your lie about that.
I mean,
Oh yeah, sure. I'll roll that.
I mean, if you're not into material things, what about that 300 gold you got a while back?
Well, that was living money.
We've not spent any money.
Uh,
Unless you're an alcoholic when you went to that pirate bar.
Yeah, Gareth was like, no, it's perfectly fine. Now, based, because I've obviously been here before, where do I think the best place to sell acid sacks would be?
Right. Yeah, there is potentially a place you can sell monster parts. So, yeah, let's have a look down here.
That is where Carrot will be looking for, just because it's either that or he tries to find a way to weaponize them, and Karis isn't that sort of character to come up with, like, he's not my other sorcerer who would be like,
Okay. So, let's see here. There would be, let's call it, there's a place called Kalhata's Cave, and it is well known that she was a renowned monster hunter in her time.
Okay.
Now she's a lot older. She's kind of retired, but she does trade in all the parts.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. Hey, Llewellyn, you collect monster parts, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've got some place we can go and sell them.
Ooh.
It's a place called Cal Hatter's Cage. She used to be this really famous monster hunter, but now she's retired. But she still likes to collect bits and bobs. Anyone else got any monster parts they want to sell? I suppose, technically, Irina, you've got the owl bell feathers if you really wanted to, but I know you don't get rid of it.
No. No.
Don't even
Uh,
suggest she
Mine.
tries to sell.
Well, I mean, if you two want to go off and find a place to sell your parts, then Irina, Andy, do you want to come with me? I was thinking about getting into some clothes that were a little more scenic here.
I mean, I could easily help you find clothes that like that.
That
I mean,
would be
I'm from
perfect.
here.
Exactly.
I'm technically on duty, so I've got to remain in this crap.
That's
I mean,
fine.
tell you what. I can help you find clothes if you help me find a nice case to put my violin in.
I can do that.
There we go.
I will just hover.
We'll drag you along.
Sure. I
Well-
will supervise.
Just because you have to be in a certain uniform, it doesn't mean you can't accessorize.
Alright, fine.
Yeah, Karish just sort of
Actually, I
looks.
should probably find a gift for the vizier if I'm going to go visit anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Karish just sort of walks.
something shiny for
Yeah,
sure, but not
Karish
necessarily
is just
gold.
gonna walk over and lean in Irina's ear and just be like, "Make sure they don't steal everything."
Already got a hand in it.
I am going to supervise, make sure Llewellyn doesn't get into any trouble. If he gets arrested, I'm not bailing him out.
Why Llewellyn?
I'm just like, Karish.
You
The
asked
Griffin stunt 5 minutes ago, that's why.
Karish is
Otherwise,
just.
Andy would be in jail.
I don't know what's the harder job at this point, but good luck. I think we'll both need it.
Where should we meet when we're done?
That is a good point.
Is there like a restaurant or like the
Mhm.
inn? What's the inn called that we were going to
Yeah,
go stay at?
in that we were going to go to, which I can't remember the name of,
Yeah, there was one, wasn't there? Okay, so
which
I
is
thought we could meet
near
at a
the
restaurant for
port.
food. I
It's
imagine Andy will want food at some point.
Her stomach growls loudly at the mention of food.
Like the air smells like spices. She's literally going to be like,
I'm starving.
there's Mina's
I
Inn.
haven't snacked in
Yeah,
25 minutes.
we'll meet at Mina's Inn. I'm sure you remember where that is, Irina. I'm pretty sure you've stayed there once before.
It'll be
Mina
fine.
Inn. Yeah, I'll put the Mina. There we go.
I'm trying to think of a pun for for a name like the pizza
know,
place
maybe-
that we went to.
I was thinking like a dessert place. that's
Yeah, I
called-
was thinking the Grand
desserts.
Desert.
but like spelled deserts.
Yeah. It's the only one that I can think of as well.
Oh, that just reminds me of something in my Thursday game where it was just like, there's been great trouble in the dessert because they misspelled it on the letter. We just made jokes about it for
Yeah,
once.
we'll meet you at the Mina Inn because we don't know what
Yeah.
time we'll be done.
Yeah, that seems a good place to meet. If you need anything, just I know. You know what? I'll send Taklo with you. That way, if you need anything, you can tell Taklo, and he can tell me.
You guys maybe do you want to take Yuriun with you?
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, we should probably ask where he wants to go.
Why
I
do
was
babysit?
going to go to the inn as well, actually.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
we're,
wanna-
we're doing other things first. But if you want to go straight to the inn, by all means, don't be boring.
Well, I'll get the drinks in and meet you there.
Yeah! I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's what you want to do.
Sure. All right.
I've
We
been
will...
flying a long time. I just want to relax, kick back.
No, you babysit him. No, you babysit him. No,
All right.
babysit himself.
Okay. Fine. We will see you all later then.
Yeah.
See you at the inn.
Already running up.
Andy, come back!
No!
Mina means port.
By the way,
Sorry.
who just used text to speech?
No.
Who just
Sorry,
used
what?
what?
You what?
I think Chris used a translate
Oh, no, we don't.
Okay.
while we're
Tell
in
Anyway,
the conversation.
go
I
on.
heard it.
Moving on. Who's going? Who should we start with? Let's roll initiative. Actually, do it. No, I only need all the tokens to do that. God damn it, we'll just start at the top. So Cam, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cam. All right. So, where are you going? What would you like to do? You
So
mentioned the food.
first thing I would like to do is to go and to get into or find a clothes shop where I can get some nice attire. I want to get out of these monk robes
Okay.
and get into something kind of light and loose, cool for the weather,
Oh, okay. Sure.
and also something that's kind of like the style of Ghaidiyan.
Nice. All right. So yeah,
Oh,
there
the
is.
colour.
Yeah.
So there are a small like markets out here, and but after kind of a bit of word of mouth, you hear that there is the best place to get like the most stylish and expensive attire is inside the mall inside Kabiri Tower, because the bottom section is an open mall and it is humongous. It is also not only the biggest tower in the world, it's also home to the biggest mall in this entire
With the deepest pockets
realm.
of money.
Yep. It's got like a
Behave.
multi-level mall. You can find everything there, like every attraction, every entertainment you can possibly imagine.
Hell yeah.
Alright.
However,
Got
I
me
don't
too.
know if I want to like spend all my money. Yeah, I do.
Right.
Let's go. Let's
So if you want to go for something on the lower end, you can stick to the sort of the street
bazaar.
markets and such.
Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good.
It usually is.
I think if you maybe hit him, you might want to steal it instead.
So I will ask Andy. I will say, where would you recommend?
I mean, personally, I usually just stick to the local markets. Because some of the ladies are really, really nice. You
Okay.
can get chatting with them and they'll know exactly what to get you, what colours suit your eyes and things. Well, my father was probably stealing the wares from out there, but we won't tell them that.
Yeah, that's probably the reason. Because he knows that inside the mall would have been way more like heavy security.
Yeah. I mean, all my clothes were free. So,
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
but trying to turn a new leaf. But yeah, I would say a lot of the stuff I think you will find in the smaller markets are more handmade, handcrafted. If you want something more up-end street fashion, then yes, the mall.
Okay. I don't know what to go. I guess if we're kind of going with like the not trying to stand out too much, I should probably stick with the street markets.
Hmm.
However,
Okay.
I will go into the mall and walk around
yeah,
and
because
say,
the-
"Oh yes, I'm just
To
browsing."
be fair, we probably got to pass through the market to get to the mall anyway. So
True.
This is true.
Yep.
Okay, let's.
Okay. So you push for trying to
It's just a chicken.
like not be distracted by the aroma of unfamiliar spices. But beyond that, you see the bright shades of blue, green, orange, salmon pink. The market is like again, like I say, an explosion of color, and every building sports kind of baskets, clay urns of colorful flowers draped in like leafy flowering vines, and there's even a few minstrels that kind of like are tapping on like drums and such, and they're in bright clothing, and there's like almost a performance on every kind of street corner. Uh, there is suddenly a crowd of children that kind of like rush past you, and they're all dressed in feathered hats and capes, and they kind of like race past you.
I'm still keeping an eye on my money purse.
Yeah, they are squealing in delight as they like rush through, and they suddenly all get distracted by this large, feathered kind of ostrich-like creature. It's kind of harnessed, and he's got like a bit,
There was a
a
bear.
bridle, and he's just like tethered to one of the buildings. And as you kind of push through, you're ducking underneath these kind of like low-hanging um, drapes and curtains. And as you push in deeper into the crowded and cramped market, the whole city seems to be bustling, sweating, laughing, swearing, and even singing. But you're in the market proper, and you can see all kinds of different clothing catching your eye.
I imagine it's probably an easier way to get around is probably just to dance your way through the crowd because it's probably a little
Yeah.
bit to maneuver that.
Just link arms with some strangers.
Do a
What?
can and
To be fair, that's what we used to do at MCM, wasn't it, to get you through the crowds?
pretty much.
You did like a conga line, and I would push through.
It's I can't see over the crowds. They're too tall.
Oh, good times.
No.
So I will be on the lookout for anything. I'd be looking for color, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
You can adorn yourself in whatever you would like.
And he finds like a bit of green fabric and throws it over Irina's head and just like, there.
And the one thing you would notice being here as well is the air is cooler now. You've realized it's a little bit more scented, but you've kind of been in the shade long enough now that your body temperature is lowered significantly, and it's nice to be in the shade. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, green on Irina, very, very vibrant looking green though. Probably going to look even brighter in the sun as well. The silk is like so smooth. So even here in the market where you expect there to be like lower quality goods, it's still fantastically well made. It's it's as good as the best in Weep.
How sturdy does it feel, considering it's silk, though?
Silk
Sturdy.
is quite strong, real silk.
Yeah, I would say.
Because I'm wondering if I can get it made into like a sort of pouch bag or anything like a shopping bag kind of thing.
Yeah, they would have silk.
She's
Silk
got a lot of
shopping
hair. I
bag.
don't think she'd wear it on her head.
Well, it keeps the sun off.
Yeah, there's all kinds
You
of
have
things to
black
keep the
hair,
sun.
so
There is umbrellas, there are turbans, there are all kinds of clothing to protect you from the sun.
I think Kashan would be looking for some maybe blues, maybe whites.
Yeah, yeah.
Andy just says, "Is there any color you don't want?" I think that is the main question. There will be every color under the sun in the market.
I don't know. What do you think goes with my fur?
Well, your fur is neutral, so that kind of means nearly everything. But I'd stay away from like the really neon-y bright colors.
Okay. I was thinking kind of like maybe like a navy.
Navy would be good.
Over
Okay.
white, like
You
white with
can't
a
go
navy
with
trim.
something that's too light in color because if you punch someone, you're gonna get blood all over it, and blood's really hard to clean.
Okay,
Sky
maybe
blue
I
is a
should
bad
stay
one.
away from white.
Yeah, white gets really dirty in the desert too.
Mm.
Okay, I
Like it'll turn yellow really fast if you sweat a lot. Oh, you really don't want that.
so maybe like red and blue.
Red and blue.
Someone pokes their head round as they notice you like going through different colors, and they are a air genasi. Funnily enough, they kind of poke their head round, and with the billowing wind, all of the kind of clothing lines like part as they kind of enter into your space, and they
Love
say, "Ah, hello, welcome. You caught something. I see. You've got a good eye." And they already see that you're kind of matching colors, and they say, "Yes, yes, and maybe something for those ears of yours." And
Kind of like wiggles them. Like I never really thought about that.
What do you mean, like some accessories or?
exactly,
Yes.
he says,
And Andy's probably speaking Auran because of course she can speak Auran.
"Oh, excellent, yeah." There's this inhalation and exhalation of language that's just kind of breathed into this space, and then she says, "Ah,
And Kashan joins
Shatha
in.
shall, Shatha shall find you some beads, some jewels to bedeck yourself with." And she comes back with these kind of like small, like beaded earrings that you can like drape from the tip of your ears, like down to like your neck, and
Okay.
it kind of like frames your head.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, this-
like old ladies reading glasses where they've got the little chain
That's what
on.
I've got for my glasses at work. I've got the chain on them.
totally, it's like that.
40 thieves.
But they're not
My
heavy. They
name
seem
is
to be
Mildred. I'll be your librarian today.
true.
Sorry.
And then she's like, what if we do like this? And then she kind of rearranges them such that they kind of like form across the front of your face instead, rather than kind of draping from the ears down. They kind of drape in front of your face, kind of forming like almost like a tiara sort of style. They're
Very
like
pretty,
small little
but
wooden
it's very
beads.
bouncy.
Yeah, he'd lose that.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
I
might
do.
poke him in the eye or something.
I do move around a lot, and I am.
Ah,
How do
okay.
you
Maybe
say?
nothing that dangles.
My job requires me to be very hands-on, so I guess what I'm looking for is
Bracelets!
things-
Yes! Bangles!
Ah!
Yes, firm bracelets. They will not shake around. Something something like this, and they come back with this kind of stylish leather bracelet. It kind of looks like a stone washed color, but there's like intricate little details. They're kind of like little clouds and swirling kind of patterns. And they kind of say like, try these on, and you can go ahead. And then
Yeah.
like they also bring around headbands. They bring around like collars as well.
I'd probably end up getting like, uh, maybe like wrist and ankle cuffs, something
Yeah.
like that, and then maybe like almost like a tail wrap.
I was gonna suggest something like that because then when you hit
yeah.
someone with it,
Yes. Do you want a bell in the tail wrap? Or
I sometimes I don't like to be heard. In
oh,
fact, if you have anything that might help with my feet, because I don't really like shoes that much. I kind of just lift up and it's like pork. However, I would prefer to have something that's a little softer.
okay. Let's have a look.
And yet you were trying to wear those horseshoes the other day.
Oh, in fact, if you can do anything with these horseshoes.
She looks up to you and you're a tabaxi, aren't you? Not a centaur.
This is correct.
She looks at them and she kind of thinks to herself, well, there are potentially other cobblers who can maybe fix something up for that.
I
But
turn around to Vibrina and Eddie. I got
But I
it
will-
she's
fast.
just kind of like, oh boy.
I think you made his day.
But if I could have something like maybe like padded foot wraps that are
Yeah, yes, of
lightweight
course.
and
And
slim.
she brings you these handmade leather sandals, and they look very well stitched together as well. And they kind of got this overlapping kind of section to the front, so they don't just look like plain sandals. They kind of got a bit more overlapping detail, and the color is one that actually matches the other red and blues that you picked out from earlier. Is it like top half red, bottom half or blue, or is it kind of like all mixed together?
Bottom half red. I can imagine the. I don't know
Orange
why
head?
I'm thinking almost old. What is it?
Like a
Like Roman.
Big-
Um,
like a skirt sort of style, or is it like with baggy harem pants?
That's like what Andy has.
yeah, that's. I'm thinking baggy. I can't remember what I'm thinking. There's one particular style that I was thinking of, but it's just gone. So I'll go. Yeah, he just wanted something kind of light and maneuverable.
Cool. Yeah, they're loose, they're cool, and the sandals are kind of reddish in color as well, with the kind of small white stitching.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I
She
end up
says,
coming out like that outfit of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Can't
Yeah.
remember what it's called, but you guys know.
Well, the Gerudo one.
Yeah.
all right, and
With the mask and
Yeah.
everything.
I'm trying to think what you've got on your tail. So is it like a wrapping maybe over it?
Yeah. I was thinking kind of like just a little bit from the tip, just wrapped.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that'd be made of. Maybe like rope or something, or like silk rope.
No, I was
Clay,
thinking more
perhaps, like baked clay, because you can get tail rings made out of baked clay and something.
clay. I was thinking more like a leather wrap or
A
silk
leather
wrap
wrap,
or
yeah.
something. It's more
Yeah.
decorative rather than practical, but
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, you come out looking amazing, and she said, Shatha says, "Now you look the part." who are ready to brave the streets of Ghaidiyan.
Just give a little curtsy.
All right. So, and for such a fine customer, we shall see here. This will cost you 13 gold pieces.
Perfect. In fact, if you have anything that I would be able to replace this sash with, that would also be very helpful.
Sash? Why didn't you say? I specialize.
Now you've got
Yeah, she draws your attention to a long line, there's a whole railing full of different sashes. There's more feminine-looking ones. There's more practical-looking ones, like a sturdy, but they're all decorated to a magnificent status. Like you can tell that you'd probably catch a few eyes with these sashes. Some of them have got gold trim. Some of them have got silver trim.
So
Are they
this is
quite thick or narrow? Do they vary?
They're thick, I would say.
It needs to be big enough to hold Egbert. doesn't
I
it?
was
They-
going to say. So this
Yeah.
is going to be one that is going to be very important because, as you can see, I have a friend with me, and I just
I
kind
thought
of
you were going
like
to say I'm with child.
I am with child.
You missed an opportunity there.
I was waiting for it and you didn't do it.
I'm sorry.
I see.
And I just kind of like open my sash, and it's like, this is Egbert.
Well, beautiful. Congratulations. I think. I do not. It's being an edge nasty. She doesn't quite know how the ins and outs of other races
She's
work, but she
nesting.
said, well,
Like a seahorse.
So what I was thinking is I wanted something that, first of all, had a secret compartment in it, and also it was big enough to be able to carry Egbert, but also something that I can carry on my back or my front.
then you have come to the right place. Shatha makes many stashes for many purposes. You see, some of these are even used to sheath weapons in. Although the egg is a little bit more round and harder to hide, but with all the loose clothing you're wearing, it could slip under here. Can make it look like it's a bag full of yes. And she kind of looks around, and she produces a large sash that's kind of got all these designs of like fruit on the outside, like stitched colored fruit, and it looks like it would be a basket or like a sash to carry large like watermelons or larger fruit like that. And she says, "Here, this is usually a sash to carry fruit from the market, but it will suit it just fine."
That's amazing. I'm carrying around a giant watermelon. Can we get him like watermelon pajamas as well? I'm so excited. So what I was thinking was at the bottom of the bag there's kind of a flap where I keep in all my goodies, and then Egbert on top, and then watermelon like cloth over the top, and then it just has a flap.
Amazing.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Perfect.
And
I need
yeah.
this art updated ASAP.
So she says, and that will be 3 gold.
3 gold, so altogether is 16.
Yeah.
I will give her 30.
30.
I give her 30.
Wow, she is overjoyed. You have made Shatha's day.
And you have made mine.
She
May the
gives you a
sun bathe
long,
you.
deep bow. And
Andy will like pick out something to just use over her hair as well, like a yellow piece of fabric or something that she can just use. She's not using her hood right now.
okay, cool. Sure, that'll just be like just a gold piece. So that's fine. All right. So yeah, Shatha is deeply grateful. Thank you. Your finest customers I've had all season.
And
And,
thank you. You have really made this cat's day.
may the wind be at your back. And she lets loose this gust that kind of fills your baggy clothes with a nice cool breeze. And
May
you
the
can...
wind be at your back too.
coming here.
Okay.
Sorry, what was that, Andy?
We will highly recommend you.
Thank you. And,
Do you have like a business card or something we can give out?
yes.
Google reviews.
Sure. How does business cards work in Ghaidiyan? Let's think.
Just gust of wind and it just kind of flies over.
Yeah,
Like a magic carpet.
I like to think they're like embroidered little slips of silk rather than a business card, and they're things that you can like even collect, like decorate an entire like bag with. And so there's this kind of little
thing out of
it-
Little
yeah,
patches.
they're like patches. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like that.
And you can like collect them all. So you can sort of make a like a stamp book of all the places you've been. So
I
yeah,
can
she gives
imagine
you
on my
Collect
sash
pins.
there's like a place like that's just empty that is specifically for that purpose.
like it. Perfect, and you can stitch them all in later.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, she gives you a patch for Shatter's wares.
Awesome. Awesome,
There you
awesome,
go.
awesome.
Cool.
I
Right, nice.
love it.
I liked that. It's wholesome. So, who's next down the list? Let's have a look. So Carrie.
Yes. So I'm obviously off to Cow Hatter's cage with
Okay.
Llewellyn in tow.
All right. So likewise, again, this will probably be on the outskirts, and you go into a bit of a messier part of the city. Not by much, but it does look like there are the streets are still clean, but there's like signs of staining across the ground where other maybe flasks or urns have been broken or leaked. And there just seems to be like more kind of like messier places. There's a wagon wash as well, equivalent of a car wash. You can get your you can get your cart and transportation devices all cleaned. And yeah, you see there's a water now, so you're kind of just hosing down a large wagon of all the dirt and grime of the desert. What else is there? Um, yeah, you can hear the sound of like coconuts being cracked, as it looks like someone's got like a hammer and chisel and they're just whacking into these coconuts. And around that corner, past the coconut crushing stall, there is a large set of cages that are empty outside. Some of them are busted and broken. Others look like they're just placed there for storage. And as you come up to a large kind of like lodge, there is, instead of like all the beaded curtains and drapes, this one's got a chain curtain. As you can like pull through, it's a darker interior. There are torches though lit at the back, where there is a a desk with bars in front of it as well,
Mm.
almost like you would see like a bank and such. Inside, the smell of animal feed and the smell of meat as well. It's like as if it's like a mix between a pet shop and a butcher's. But there's also kind of a rug, like a skinned animal on the floor. It looks like maybe a leathery like lizard creature. You're not sure. And the horn is being kind of like chiseled off, so you don't just walk onto a stabbing horn. And all around you, yeah, you can see that there are like different kind of bone-like trinkets, but most of them have been fashioned into practical things like bowls, urns. There are a lot of weapon sheaths as well, made of ivory, um, and there's lots of like leather materials as well. But yeah, you come up to the up to the desk, but you don't see anyone visible in the actual desk. And you can see there's a small horn and next to it's probably got like a sign in Ignan that says like blow to get attention.
Carius, just because I want to do this, Carius is going to lift up the horn and basically, I really want to do this, but it would also be. He's going to blow through the horn, but then he's going to try to use his control winds just to manipulate it to make it louder. Just because.
Yeah, cool. All right, so you
I
really
was tempted to try to cast gust through it, but that might be a bit extreme.
All right, so yeah, you really let loose a loud through the horn, and it just echoes in this place. And you hear a, "All right, yes, I'm coming, I'm coming." And there's a sudden wash of heat in the room as a very scarred and grizzled-looking fire genasi hobbles their way in. And I say hobble because it looks like that one of their legs is missing from the knee down, and it's been replaced with this kind of ivory peg leg, and it's kind of got all these different tattoos and inscriptions over the ivory as well. Their face is like cracked cinders on like a log. It's got these kind of wrinkles, and in the wrinkles there are like small glowing lines of fire. And unlike a normal Genasi's hair, which kind of like flying around and flickering in the air, this one seems to be more subdued. Like the flame is kind of like trickling down like small rivulets of magma, and they kind of look you up and down. Ah, customer, we just got need a set of new drinking horns.
Oh, now that's tempting. That's tempting. I did more come to we came more to sell than to buy, but I'm also happy to trade. I've got myself some acid sacks that I got from some giant antlion things in the Mirage Mountains.
Acid sacks and kegs and lions.
Yeah, they were kind of like they came out of the earth. They were made big like whirlpools in the sand.
Did they put up a fight?
The big one did. The rest, yeah. I've fought tougher.
How big? Show me, show me. And they kind of like start getting out tools and laying them out across the desk.
I get out the large acid sack from like the mother one and place that. Well, this was the acid sack we got from the big one.
Yeah.
And if I compare that to the smaller ones, and I get out the 3 smaller ones.
Yeah, and across the counter in a separate pile, I start getting out all my antlion stuff.
And he's got a bunch of stuff too. He's
Yeah.
a bit more of an avid collector than me, but you know,
That's
I know
5.
acid has
Yeah,
its potential.
But yeah, 5 antlion mandibles, 3 antlion chitin armor, 2 adult antlion mandibles, and a bent cracked dragon scale.
Dragon? You didn't fight a
Scale.
dragon, did you?
4 of them.
Her eyes kind of go wide. You best not make any enemies with the dragons in these lands. That's how I lost this. And she like lifts up her leg and puts it onto the desk.
Oh.
Oh, the blue dragons in my family have a bit of a history. And this one in particular has a history of my family. The one that decided to ambush us with his little friends, but we managed to drive them off. This one disintegrated a couple of their wings. I knocked them out the sky.
Good. Give him a good bruising for me.
That's part of the plan, though. I'm actually working on because Karis is just going to be honest. I'm actually working on something to really surprise him at the moment.
Good. It'll be payback for what put me almost out of my hunting career.
Yeah,
But-
because you know, like blue dragons are immune to lightning, right?
Of course.
I might have a way to make them not immune to my lightning.
What? Did you just come straight from the pub?
No, it's something I've been working on for a while. I think I almost had in the fight with the dragons. Managed to at least chip their scales, so they didn't do much damage. But well, I'll have to tell you about it if I ever get the chance to actually use it against them. But
Fair enough. I'd be impressed if everyone ever actually shocked a blue dragon. But still, let's have a look here. Pulls out a large book, starts thumbing through it, and weighing up your parts. There's actually a massive set of scales, and he slumps the acid sack on top, and it starts going down. Like, all right. So let me just pull out.
Sorry, the urge to do this. Is there a breeze at all in here?
Not much. No. It's kind of it's much more like down and into the deeper sections.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be entertaining if I just use my ability to manipulate the wind slightly to just push down a bit on the scales, just to make them seem heavier than they are? But I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah, this one seems to be much more like out of the wind. Like I mentioned, it's kind of like dark and interior. So, here we go. So she pulls out the Monster Harvester's Handbook and starts like thumbing down, looking for pancake. Well, this is quite a large one. So, 45, 20. I'll give you 65 gold for the acids.
You know what? Garrett considers this and then thinks for a moment, and it's like, okay. And then he's gonna have I'm gonna keep that in mind, and then he's just gonna have a look around the shop to see if there's anything that catches eye that he might want to trade.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of weapon sheaths. There is feathers that you could decorate your clothing or armor with. There is armor made of leather, studded, all kinds of different ones there. There is more heavier armor made out of like chitin and scales. They don't look draconic. Maybe they do, but some of them might be just like large desert-dwelling lizards. Then there is drinking horns as well. It's like all kinds of ivory utensils. There's tools. It seems like anything they could make out of parts. There's even a small shelf with flasks and potions. It looks like.
You said it was 65 gold, right?
Yeah, for the sack.
Okay. Was that for all 4 of the sacks, or just?
No, that is just for the largest one.
Okay.
How many did you get?
I got 3 of the small ones.
Wow. Okay. So they're each 45 each.
Okay. So. 45. Okay, so with the money that's Irina gave me, that brings me up to. Wow, I got exactly 200 golds worth.
Hey, not bad.
Hey.
Well, so I've now got 329 gold. I'm going to have a look at the potions and see if there's anything there that catches the eye, because potions are always useful.
Yeah, sure. So there's all kinds of alchemical things. She says, I've tinkered and dabbled. Most of them are raw materials, not much of a mixer myself, but for leftover materials that the potion sellers don't want, I kind of mixed into my own slurry. But there is styles of acid. There is alchemy fire as well. But there's nothing too crazy here. It does seem like she kind of, like as you mentioned, she takes the materials and then sells them on. Anything she can't get rid of, she kind of makes herself.
I can imagine nothing too crazy can be made because otherwise they wouldn't have taken my poisons at the door.
There is one thing that might catch your eye though. There's kind of this blackened bottle, but as you pick it up, you realize it's actually clear glass. It's just this kind of swirling black cloud within it.
What's this one? Looks a bit interested.
Ah, yes. That one I melted down the eye of a nothing.
Ooh.
It's turned into this cloudy vapor after a few days. And it's bad stuff to breathe in. Highly toxic. But more than just poison. There's necrotic energies inside there.
Hmm. Well, that could certainly have its uses. But I suppose I should ask, even if this is on the shelf, this is legal to carry around the city, right?
She kind of smiles and grins. There's a reason why I usually stick to the more shaded areas here.
Oh. Actually, you know what?
That's stuff you don't want to be on. In fact, that shouldn't even be on the shelf. That's kind of behind the bar stuff. Under the desk, sort of thing.
Well, Henkaris is going to say, well, you obviously don't want anyone to know about that, so how about I take it off your hands as part of the deal, but you also give me a little bit of information and we'll say no more about it.
Information?
Yeah, basically, you're a monster hunter. You've been traveling around here for a while.
Uh-huh.
I looked at Llewellyn, because didn't Llewellyn have some of the purple stones? Or was that only Karis' sister who had
That was only Carrie's sister. I took a look at it, but I gave it back.
Okay, then I am going to, with the best of my ability, and this is going to be a really tricky one, try to use shape water in order to basically mimic what those stones look like. To basically,
right.
like the purple scaly things that we think belong to a creature. And I'm going to be like, we found something like this in like the far southern bit of the Clawed Coast down near even further south than the Rylear Cove. And we think it might be part of some creature, but we're not quite sure what.
Didn't I work out for definite that it was the like armor or carapace of some sort of insectoid of
We
the desert?
think, yeah, we think it's some sort of chitin armor of some desert creature, but not sure exactly what. Like an armored carapace, maybe like honestly, maybe like a crab, but who knows? I thought maybe you might have some insight.
She looks it over and then I'm going to give her a check real quick. Not bad with the pluses she has. This looks like it could belong to a terrifying beast. One creature that I have yet to bet in my time. But I would have got around to it eventually, I'm sure. It could be one of several things. The kind of texture and appearance at first makes me think it's some sort of Tlinkali scorpion tail, but it's larger. Tlinkalis don't grow to this size.
Was the Zinkali the scorpion creature that attacked me, like the scorpion drider thingy?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought. No, actually, I didn't. That was my brother who fought
Yeah.
those. So, yeah, I didn't. I have no idea about that creature.
And then they start to look at it up and down again and go, but it could be something a bit rarer still. It could be. Nah. Haven't seen one of those in long, long years. Could be a Yakatshi.
What's one of those?
Eater of dust. They are terrifying creatures. But they're more aberrant than just classic monstrosity. They are, how do you say it? Evil creatures of unending hunger. They devour any substance with their maw blades, and they never get full.
Do these burrow under the sand by any chance?
No, not that I remember, but they could potentially eat the sand and do that.
Ah, yeah. Now,
Creature burrowing?
whilst we were down in that area, we did see something moving about in the earth.
Maybe not then. Could be something else. And she brings out another book and starts like thumbing through it. This one's called The Tome of Beasts.
Ah.
Ooh.
Yes, written by those famous kobolds.
Indeed.
Quite
Well,
fat earlier works.
she kind of thumbs through for a moment. It could be a Stygian, a fat-tailed Stygian. They're a giant scorpion. They're midnight black, but some do have this coloration. And she kind of gestures towards them, the kind of weird one. In fact, it has the same consistency as one, but warped slightly. She starts bringing out a few of her own tools, and one of them is actually a wand of magic detection. Kind of like waves it over them.
Well, Carius has just made like an illusion of it. We don't have the actual ones. Carius
You
doesn't have them, unfortunately.
She says,
So-
was there any kind of magical qualities to this? Because the coloration is somewhat infused, it seems. But I will tell you, if that is what I think it is, a dose of a fat-tailed scorpion venom could be worth your while. At least 4,000 gold pieces to the right buyer.
Wow, gold is something that I'm very interested in at the moment. So
I do believe that when I checked it, you did tell me about it having giving some sort of magical protection.
but it was like an abjuration, wasn't it, or something?
I don't know. It was like some sort of magical protection, sort of armor for the insectoid.
Yeah.
Like it
You
could.
will also probably remember that obviously Irina was with you when we first saw this situation. So I was with you when you went to get your sister, but obviously Irina has heard about these before and did point out that that's what she thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah, based on what my friend thought, that sort of doubles up on it. So good to get a Monster Hunt's opinion. Now,
It
about
sounds to me like you don't just have a beast on your hands, but a monstrosity. Something magically warped, infused with whatever it's consumed or intertwined with. But if so, those are the most dangerous, unpredictable enemy.
Other than from what you've heard of them, do they have any special abilities we should be aware of, other than obviously the scorpion sting, I guess?
Well, they obviously can create pit traps. The Stygian fat-tailed scorpion is probably going to have a lair not near its hunting grounds. They'll keep tunnels, pits, and drag their prey back into the maze if you don't just fall into it yourself.
Well, at least in terms of what they do, they probably can't be as bad as those flesh pod hornets we fought. Ugh.
And
Speaking
normally
of,
with scorpions, it's the smaller, the more venomous. But a Stygian scorpion it possesses both terrifying strength and potent venom. And it hunts by night, usually using its blind vision when it's most effective.
Hmm. Looks like I got to my sister just in time down there then.
So yeah, you know that they have blind sight as well.
probably with getting some sort of resistance to poison for those that don't have it.
Yeah.
But if it's magically infused, if it's become a monster, then it could have a whole host of other strange magical abilities that it would normally possess.
Yeah.
And yes, what else? The blinding poison is aptly named. The arachnid hunter blinds its victim with a dose of its crippling poison. It's known to feed on entire herds of camels if given a chance. But it more commonly devours smaller prey. People, in other words. But that's everything I can tell you about Stygian
Well,
scorpions.
Oh, that's fine with me. I'm gonna in that case, how much to take that necrotic poison off of your hands and
Ah, yes, of course. Let me see. And if you do happen to bring back some, I'll be interested in buying if you can get it through. If you can get it through custom.
that will be the difficult one, but I'm sure there's ways and means. Actually, I do have one other bit of information that would be of use to me. And I'll slide you a little extra in regards to that. But essentially, obviously, you deal with the shadier side of things.
Yep.
Where would be the best place to deal with other people of a shady nature?
Shady natures. Usually they don't get into Ghaidiya. It's highly policed. If
True.
anyone's shady, it's likely outside the walls, aboard their
Yeah.
ship.
I would have thought it was the fire genasi. They create a lot of shade.
I'm gonna slap you.
Yeah, there's a wave of heat, and you can see a few sparks grit
I-
between it.
I didn't mean that as an insult. I meant that as a bit of banter.
I think he meant with the bright lights that fire Genesi.
Exactly.
Finger guns. I don't think it does anything to it.
But you and I both know that even in the most well-policed areas, there's always a shadier side.
True.
And the brighter the light, the darker the shadow, as they say. So I'd imagine any any people not wishing to deal with the law are probably much more valuable in the city because
Like
of
I've
how
said, they're either not in the city, or they're either in the prison or not in the city at all. Ghaidiya is one of the most policed cities in this realm. Trust me when I say that not shady people. Shady people have better chance of fleeing than they do of hiding here.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Actually, with that in mind, I think I'll leave your potion here. But I might come back for it later if I find a need for it.
One last thing, if you do wish for certain things like that, this one again, not really something you want to be showing. But then again, not many people realize what it is. And they bring out another potion, but this one looks to be held not within a flask, but within some sort of like organic organ. It is still stoppered though, with like a cork at the end.
Hmm.
And she says, "This was possibly one of my finest kills, and most dangerous." She says, and gestures to it. Androsphinx lung.
And what does this do?
Have you ever heard an Androsphinx roar?
No. Unfortunately, I've
Have
never
you heard
run it.
tales of their roars?
I suppose I could roll to see if I have. I guess
Yeah,
history
sure, go ahead.
Possibly.
makes the most sense. 'Cause- Or nature. Would that be a nature check potentially?
Arcana, history, or nature, whichever one you
Okay.
Whichever one.
I shall.
natural
Nope.
one.
Never heard of them. Honestly, I'm not convinced Androsphinx is even a thing. I always dismiss those kind of stories. Now, Gynosphinx, those are the ones to worry about.
He kind of like shakes her head. People can't appreciate some of these hunts, so I don't get as much business anymore.
I have at least.
You know, you've heard of their terrifying roars. They inspire fear. Then they inspire paralyzation. And on the third roar, they can even blast people away with their thunderous lung. This one lung still contains that third roar.
Oh, I will be back here. I need to hear that tale. How you took that down.
How much for that?
This one will set you back. She looks over towards it. So,
Because that
Androsphinx.
just. I'm assuming that actually works like an actual Androsphinx's third roar.
Yeah, it does. It's a one-use item of an Androsphinx's third roar,
Which is
and it is
AC 10, DC 18 con save.
yep 900. So it is 900 plus 150. So it is 1,050 gold.
Okay. I may have to come back for that later. I don't have that sort of money on me now, but perhaps when if I decide to deal with that Stygian fat-tailed scorpion thing, then maybe we can talk business then.
Let's just check. Actually, that is the correct. That seems a bit low for me. No, that's
And with that,
strong.
Karis will gesture to Llewellyn and be like, "Right, I'm gonna take a break. Do you want to deal with this?" Basically, probably worth.
May have lowballed the price of it.
Well,
It's like-
maybe he's lowballing the price because Karis threatened to reveal his illegal things.
She doesn't want to get these secret out. Also, because it's kind of hard to move, so getting rid of it is probably a better thing. But yeah, it's incredibly dangerous.
Ooh.
I'll say 1,700 gold is probably what she actually said. There you go. Anyway, all right. So that's everything. Have you sold everything you needed to sell?
I have personally. Llewellyn may have more, but do we want to take a break before we do that, or do you want to do that on the break? Just because.
Yeah, we can do that on the break. All right. Let's go down the list then. Yeah. Go back to you guys. Irina.
Do we want to take the break before?
Oh, we don't take a break now. Yeah, so let's
I
do
was
it.
going to say,
Well,
like,
it's like it's 9 o'clock now, so yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
go for a quick break. We'll be right back and see you then. See you in about 5 minutes. 10.
Yeah.
And welcome back. Alrighty, so whilst we're still here in the grimy interior of Kalhata's cage, the monster hunter, you want to sell your wares as well, Llewellyn, which we'll say, for the sake of brevity, is done. But was there something you wanted to say during that exchange?
Yes, I
Oh, no.
wanted to see what he would think of
She-
the Feywild. Sorry, the Feywild Yargle Tooth, and I also pull out the Angel Strand, Hair Strand, and the Vial of Blood. See what they thought of that. Genuine angel stuff.
Genuine angel stuff. All right. So they definitely recognize the was it the hair? Was it
It was an angel strand of hair and angel blood.
angel blood? Okay. So they do look over it for a moment and they're like, "What is this exactly you're trying to show me? This is some sort of celestial energy coming from it."
It is, as I just said, genuine angel blood and hair, said to be from the angels of the Sun Lord himself.
Hmm. And I thought I got a bad rap for killing an Andra Sphinx. But you actually killed an angel?
No, I befriended them, and this was the gift they gave me.
Ah, I see. Strange gift. What do you need that for?
Potions and stuff, but I was wondering, I don't need the full vial. I just need a portion of it, so just wondering what you'd make of that.
I can't imagine I'd make anything of angels. Not anything practical at the very least. And I'm not much of a wizard. Couldn't tell you what I'd use it for in a potion.
Hmm. Nothing you do dabbing it on maybe armor or something, give it a holy aura of some sorts.
Not much of a cleric either, but I would imagine angel's blood is not the same as holy water,
Fair
which
enough.
you can use to douse armor and weapons. But blood is much more out of my field. Sounds
Interesting.
like
Yeah, interesting to know then. And what about this Yaggle 2 from a beast of the dream world within Feywild?
never heard of such a creature, but it looks like a fearsome jaw would have contained such a powerful tooth.
Surely you could make something out of that.
Hmm. I could. You say it's from the Feywild. Sounds
Yeah,
exotic. Let me see. I suppose I can give you. Whilst I'm actually weighing up on a price, give me a persuasion check.
yeah.
If you're trying to sell the exotic qualities of it.
Persuasion. Where is persuasion? 20.
Better than you usually do, yeah, for
I
sure.
know persuasion is usually the worst.
Okay, so this comes. How big was this creature? She's like trying to measure it, and you can see she's got like a set of rulers and tape measures.
Well,
She's
that
the diameter. It's like the jaw must have been at least 5 foot wide.
yeah, that piece is just the tip of a tooth. The
Her jaw kinda drops. Just the what? Can't be serious. This thing must have been the size of an ancient dragon.
probably not that big, but I've never seen an ancient dragon, so but maybe
Hmm.
definitely an adult.
One
All
of
right.
the dragons of Bahamut, technically ancient dragons, and you saw a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
those.
yeah. I guess technically, yeah, I have. So
I'll give you 300 gold for it.
okay. And would it make the deal even nicer if I showed you something that you'll definitely have never seen before? The guards didn't want me to bring this out in public from one
She
monster hunter to another,
she smiles and says, "Ah, they're a bunch of queasy lot. Sure, let's see it."
and I'll bring out my monster book.
The first person who hasn't just immediately like given you a look of disgust when you bring this out, they actually look impressed, and they flick through it, kind of looking.
Giant's
Um,
beards, hag tooths,
yeah,
runes,
and
eyes,
as,
dragon hearts.
and as she's the one saying this, as she actually flicks through the pages and identifies each one of them, just from her own eyes. You're quite the hunter, it seems. Why? I've never thought to like put them in a book though. Not like this. Normally there I turn mine into something practical. Is this just a is there a means to this?
It's how I keep my trophies. I don't really stay to one place, so I have no need to decorate rooms with it. But
Hmm,
it's also of a magical nature, this book, so it absorbs what I put into it.
absorb. And as
Yeah.
she says that as a question, she suddenly pulls her hand away, like, huh, what the? And you see like the kind of fiery lines and wrinkles over her hand have kind of dimmed. There's a
Oh,
slight amount of
sorry.
like there's a slight amount of extinguishing to it, like a candle when it's put out, like
Oh, yeah.
from her
Sorry.
hand.
Be very careful. Sorry, my bad. But no,
Very
you'll you'll
intriguing.
you'll know when it really absorbs you. Of
So it's magical.
course.
Interesting. And she puts it across the table. She says, "But I'd best not handle it. That felt like there was no air for a moment."
Oh, sorry. But if you do want to look at it, I can flick the pages for you, and we just have this little back and forth, I guess.
Yeah, sure. And she like asks you many questions about how you kind of killed each creature and how much of a fight they put up. She seems to enjoy the real stories behind them. And in the end, she ends up handing you quite a large amount of gold for the antlion mandibles, the chitin, the dragon scale, though the dragon scale's a bit bent and cracked.
Yeah,
So,
I figured maybe they'd make small things out of it around the cracks, and
you so you get a little bit of gold for that.
yeah, I didn't expect much from that.
The stingers and the wings, she definitely buys as well. All right. So I'll give you a full breakdown of how much gold that was worth at a later point.
That's
For
fine.
now, we
Perfect.
will press on. Let's jump to Irina, who's back in the market, right? Still with the other gang.
Yeah. Irina would be looking for probably somewhere that like sells books, and like on the way, just generally keeping an eye out on anything that may catch her eye. You know, like obviously the hagstone that she found previously here, but
Okay,
she's just looking for like knickknacks and things, something that might make an interesting gift.
gotcha. All right, sure. This is a gift for the the vizier, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but it's a case of like obviously if she can't find anything that's suitable, she has a backup plan.
Gotcha. Okay, so there isn't as many libraries as you think in the marketplace.
Not necessarily like a library, but like a used book stand or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell you what then. For the market search, give me an investigation check with disadvantage.
Investigation disadvantage. 48.
Yeah, so you find some books that are about the histories of Ghaidiya. There's ones about great wars and such, but it's likely stuff that an academic has already kind of learnt about and read, and they're mostly.
Oh, the
Um,
books are not for him. The books are for me.
oh, okay, right. Oh, all right then.
The
In that case,
knick-knack situation is for the gift.
gotcha.
You got
All
the
right then.
best thieves in the world.
She's
on
like,
the
he's
lookout
the
for good
vizier.
stuff.
He's got access to like all the books. He doesn't
Of
need
course,
me buying
of
him more new
course.
books.
All right. So as you pick through some of the books, though, um, there's a kind of an older looking fire genasi, and he says, "If you're looking for books, I highly recommend looking in the mall. There is actually a museum of sorts. and they hold many texts. If you're looking for something more interesting or exotic, I have a few old history books.
I don't suppose you've got anything about the Camel Hump Dunes and the history behind that. My friends have only seen it for the first time, so I was hoping to enlighten them, as it were.
Indeed. The museum houses many of those that detail the battles fought on those dunes. There's even a epitaph of many of the soldiers, commanders and captains that fought in it.
Okay, I'll have a look there, but like I feel bad going somewhere else for business when I've come. You shouldn't be sending business away.
I don't sell books. This is just a garage sale.
But still, you're not going to shift anything if you're sending people elsewhere. But thanks anyway.
He says, fine. You'd like to buy a book cover? Got some of those.
A book cover.
Yes,
So like it would go over the top of a book.
yes, to protect it.
How big is this? Like,
All sizes.
okay. I'm looking for something that would go over Llewellyn's book.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Dust jackets that you get on library books.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's exactly what
Those
he's
were a
kind of got.
pain to put on.
I'm
Yeah.
insulted.
Like just so like he doesn't get so much hassle for it is all. Like
Yeah.
only for like when it's necessary, so he can still use his book and have it out and about and things like that without it looking too gross.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that
sure.
technically suffocate it?
But
Maybe.
it doesn't
I mean,
breathe.
it's a book; it doesn't breathe.
But I like
That's
everybody's
not what
reaction.
Llewellyn says.
Which is kind of funny because the fire genasi just said it was almost like there was no air when she had her hand on it. But anyway, so he says, yeah, it's only 5 gold for a cover. But,
Five.
they'll
Are
keep
you
it
kidding me?
waterproof. They'll keep it from getting sun bleached. Do you want one?
I think I'm good, thanks.
Oh,
Hey,
Okay.
look, they also have Sphinx salt shakers.
I'll
Do
keep
you want
it
to
in
buy?
mind
Do
though.
you want to buy a chicken?
No, I have no use for a chicken, I'm afraid.
Oh. What about?
Some marbles.
No, don't worry, it's fine, it's fine. But I do recommend the museum inside the mall.
Paper clips.
I will check it out, but good luck with your garage sale.
Okay.
I have this piece of string.
A slightly cracked floorboard. No?
I'm
No,
gonna
Gone? Okay.
Bye.
Alright, sure. So, I've got
A bucket with a hole in it.
coffee bean. Oh, never mind, she's gone. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep the story about this whole character now. They become the main character. You guys are NPCs. So, okay, so you can go to the mall if you want, and if you're looking for something interesting, I will say that through some word of mouth as well, similar to how this guy gives some recommendations. If you're looking for something of a knick-knack, you hear of a place, and you've been to this place before. You should already remember. Marzook's Bazaar.
Okay, yeah, that's where I found the hagstone.
So, Irina, perhaps if you're trying to get on the good side of the vizier, or is this gift more of a custom?
It's more of a custom. He's we've met a few times now, but it's tradition just to bring a gift.
So perhaps
Similar friendship in a way. It's not necessary. It's not like you have to, but it's kind of nice to do so.
well, perhaps as maybe a good gesture, you could find the thing that you love most about this place and give it as a gift, almost like this is what I love so much that I want to share it with you, kind of thing.
That was my backup plan. I'm not gonna lie.
Your backup plan.
So if I can't find something that's interesting, that could be something that's interesting, like to me, then my backup plan is that idea because it's foolproof.
Okay. So what did you have in mind? I can keep an eye out. I can do a
So-
couple of laps in
I
one
believe
turn
that. I
with
believe that.
horseshoes.
You don't have hooves.
Flippity cloppity. I
Kill
can never be
yourself.
stopped. What was that?
You know, I'm almost tempted now to just have Carius be looking out for a horse costume for him.
I'm just trying to think. I'm gonna specifically look for something red,
Okay. You
just as
find-
kind of like a starting point.
You remember specifically something red in Marzook's bazaar, in fact. He wore a little red fez.
Okay.
He sells those.
I'm not buying the Vizier a fez.
Oh.
But fezzes are cool.
They
Can we
are,
all get a
but
fez?
it would look ridiculous on the Vizier, to be fair. He's a very prideful person.
I actually think I have a fez.
What?
What?
Can we be a party of fezzes? That'll be like our emblem.
No. Of course he's got a fez.
Okay, if you're going for something red, though, you will see there is a shop front that is very red, and it has got a title in Ignan as well as in Common, and it is called the Glinting Amber,
Okay.
and it looks like a jewelry shop.
Okay. I will. Like, how pricey does this place look?
This one's the pricey one. You're inside the mall, I'll say, if you're looking for this, or if you want to look outside, you can go look for something. Where are you? Are you in
I'm
the-
not. I'm not going for like extravagant. I'm going for interesting.
Well, they'll have both. That's for
Okay.
sure. Extravagant is both interesting and
Okay. Well, I want to find like the quirkiest looking jewelry shop if that's the case.
quirky looking.
Like something
Right.
that's not necessarily like in fashion.
Right, okay. You might find a shop that doesn't specialize in jewelry then, but does have some jewelry as part of it.
Okay, that'll do.
Alright, so so what do you find? Okay, cool. You find the waxy bauble.
Waxy bauble.
You wanted weird.
I'm not complaining. I'm just clarifying that I heard that right.
Waxy bauble.
Okay.
Right. Cool. And as you go in, they absolutely definitely sell weird and things. Like they seem to have made art out of melted dripping candle wax as well. Like they've all got like wicks in the top of them as well, and it kind of like caught your eye. But yeah, it's like wax art that's made to melt and look even weirder. So some of the art pieces are like completely intact and beautiful. They're like statues of people in poses. There's like a thinking man, but then one of them is like the thinking man, but he like drooped. His fist has gone into his face, like half melted, and then obviously he's extinguished the candle, and then kept the wax statue as like a half melted, disfigured feature.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for something that's not going to necessarily melt in the sun. So what have they got that's not going to do that?
Okay. So they may have also used some of these as casts, and then they created, yeah, like what's a good cast material? Mm, yeah, I'd say they've made like kind of metallic statues out of them as well after
Okay.
creating a cast, a mold. So they've created the same things, but they've used it's like a metal material now. Um, there's one of like a beholder. All of its eye stalks are like melted down over their face. So it looks like they've got dreads. What else? There's one of like little sandcastles, and I'll say that there's even one that they made of Kibiri, like the actual tower, but it's kind of melted. It's like, yeah, as if you can imagine Kibiri if it suddenly got sent into the sun.
Okay, this isn't quite what I'm looking for.
Alright, well,
Let's try one of the higher end places then.
okay, you go into the mall and you visit the Glinting Amber, because that will definitely be something more interesting.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so you go in there. There is a bedazzled Earth Genasi, and you're not sure if it's like natural gems stuck in their body, or if it's like something that they've kind of pushed into it and melded into their body. But as you enter in, there's like a red rolled out carpet. All the walls have kind of got these small little ruby lights, like someone cast like continual flame on rubies as they kind of like go around the room. It's almost like uh, the whole kind of interior is like you're inside a gem itself, because there is this glass topped ceiling as well that you can see other people above you on different levels of the mall. And yeah, there's this kind of warm glow to the center here, and inside the central desk is this Earth Genasi, and they say, "Welcome. My name is Gamada, and you have the pleasure of standing inside the glinting amber. May its warmth seep into your soul, such that you can glow with a luster as potent as the jewels you find here."
I'm trying not to smile at the irony of that statement.
Yeah,
Lighting
really
up your soul, and I'm just like, ooh.
Now,
Yes, it's wonderful to be here.
what can I help you to look for?
I am looking for a gift for someone very important.
Very important.
Yes, an acquaintance of mine.
And you will need a very, very striking gem.
Maybe.
And they kind of lead you over and around. We have rubies, emerald, topaz, all in different cuts, all in different shapes, sizes. Or perhaps something looks at you up and down. Something like this. And they reveal a headscarf that is glittering with tiny little flecks of ruby dust.
Kashan's eyes are probably bouncing off of it.
If there's light moving around, he's chasing the little dot.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
And he's disappeared probably by this
Oh
point.
no. Don't cause a mess.
What would that be? Wisdom?
Yeah, sure. You wish.
I maintain. I refrain.
Do I know, like, obviously, just from like what I know of the vizier, like what his colors tend to be, like that he wears? Does it change, or does he generally stick with the same color scheme?
Yeah, he seems to wear a lot of oranges, and there was There is occasionally a change in attire. You've seen him wear these kind of striking blues and more like pale greens. But the one time you first met him, uh, he was kind of, what was he wearing? He's kind of wearing like a silver trimmed blue tunic.
That was when he was still very new to the job, I believe.
Yes,
Okay.
it seems like he's kind of got more comfortable. Now he seems to be wearing more like warmer colors.
Okay. Okay. I'm literally just gonna be okay. I want something that represents me. So it's a gift that he knows is from me, but in these colors. But obviously, being fire-based magic user, the colors are kind of similar anyway. Something that is nice but small and maybe a little bit more discreet.
He looks around for a moment and says, "Perhaps these." And he delicately lifts up a glass cabinet. There are small little jewelry boxes, and he opens up actually a small black box, and inside are a set of handcuffs. Sorry, cufflinks.
Not that kind of special.
Yeah,
Friend.
not that. No, they are cufflinks, and there's all different types and shapes and sizes.
Okay.
There's ones that are kind of like shaped like curved swords. There's ones that are carved into shapes of.
I don't want to interject, but I don't suppose that you have something that maybe depicts fire with this. So maybe some form of red gem that is cut to make it look like flickers of flame.
Of course.
I had a thought as like obviously you said the cufflinks are like shaped like curved swords. Maybe something that literally look like candelabras and then little red gems for like flames on the top
That'd
of
be
them,
cool.
just like very small ones.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. I think that's a cool idea, and I'll say there is exactly just a set like that. They could be candelabras. In fact, the first moment you look at them, if you're looking for something like that, you think they are candelabras, and then as you kind of look at them a little bit, they either maybe be a symbol in Ignin, or like a rune of some sort. But it definitely looks very reminiscent of a candelabra, like the closest you're gonna get.
I'm
Kind of
gonna ask him and just be like, I like these.
a very nice choice. These, I can, if your friend here says they want something fiery, they can most definitely be enchanted to have continual flame cast on them.
Ooh.
And that will cost some amount, but I can there are small little rubies, like they say, on the edge of the tips of the candelabra type
Yeah.
symbol.
I wonder if. Sorry, I'm just checking something.
Perhaps. Oh, the continual flame is almost like Porky's.
Yeah, so it literally will constantly look like it's on fire.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And it'll be ruby dust worth 50 gold pieces to make the enchantment. And then the actual cufflinks themselves would probably be about 25 gold each. So we'll say it's all in all 100 gold, and you can get the.
Okay. Well, I gave everyone 100 gold spending money, so that will be my spending money gone.
I'll help out with that.
Because it's a gift, I kind of want to do this. But I appreciate the gesture. You can buy me dinner, and we're even. We're good.
Okay.
If you want to spend money, you can buy dinner.
The money? I don't have any money. I need to sell some items to be able to
You
get
literally
some
just
money.
offered to help pay for this.
But it's because I don't want to take money that you can spend on yourself.
It's fine. I'm just paying for them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you can knock your 100 gold off, and you've bought the candelabra cufflinks of continual flame. That sounds cool. I want a pair.
No, I kind of do as well.
Cool. Lovely.
It's
Can
a very
I ask
spicy
if you
gift.
can gift wrap them for me?
Of course. and they are placed within, instead of like all these silks and packages you normally get for an Earth Genasy's jewelry box. I imagine it's kind of a more glass-like block, kind of like it's placed in.
That's cool. I kind of see it as like, you know, you can get like the sort of lava stone rocks.
Mm.
Like it's been polished and shined, and it just looks like it's almost like still melting.
Yes, I like it. Awesome. All right, so that's your shopping done.
Thank you very much.
Before we end tonight, let's quickly get something with Andy as well. So, Andy, you've got time. It's a few minutes if you want to do something,
Yeah,
or maybe you
really,
can
really
set up
quickly.
something.
Yeah, she was of course going to try and see if she could get a case to carry the violin around in, because I realised she hasn't got one.
No, she doesn't.
She's literally just carrying the violin around how it is.
Alrighty. There are loads of different places you can get a violin. As I mentioned, there's almost a what's it called? A minstrel on every on every street corner. But as you're in the mall as well, it's important to mention that there is, of course, a music shop, and it's half shop, half gallery, I guess, as well, because it seems like there is artists that have decorated their instruments to make them basically pieces of art. They're not for playing. Some of them have been like cast out of precious materials. Some have been kind of shaped into like oversized things that only a giant could possibly wield. And then there's also little miniature ones as well. Yeah, there's all kinds.
She probably looks at them thinking it's pretty, but the poor thing, it can't be played. It can never sing. So,
Well, I mean, unless you gave it purpose.
no, usually decorated instruments like that don't make a sound very well.
No, they don't. But they do have...
Once you put anything on the wood that's not like a specialized varnish, you could ruin the sound completely.
Right. But there are...
But anyway, they're pretty, but...
That's why if you see a video of someone like painting a violin or something, you will see violinists in the comments going, "What have you done?"
Yeah. That's why I say it's half gallery, half music shop, because some of these are meant to be played. But there is a section to the gallery where there is a shop for instruments, and yeah, we can play that out for a moment or set it up for next week. You're just looking for a case, aren't you?
Yeah, basically she's just looking for a case. She probably won't want anything fancy because, of course, the violin itself is incredibly fancy.
Yeah.
But something sturdy enough that, you know, is going to protect it, but not kind of allude to there's something special inside sort of thing.
More for deterrence then.
Yeah, sure. There's one that's a case, and let me just think of that. The shape of a violin.
You can get oblongish cases, rectangular cases. The ones we generally get are kind of like wider at the bottom, long at the top, and
yeah.
Because obviously
that's my violin, folks.
Okay. I'll say that there's actually one that's kind of shaped. It's oblong-like shape. Actually, kind of has a bump in the side as well, like made to look like there's a bump, obviously to fit other bits in there. But the kind of shape and design has made it look like, well, it's been decorated with like a rhino on the exterior, but it's not too fancy. It's just sort of like an emboss of a rhino on the side. But
my brain just sees like those old-fashioned gangster movies where they pop it open and there's like a machine gun in there.
I'm not gonna lie, it's the only thing I can think of. It's like you got to get a case that looks like a gun.
I've had comments like that before from people. You got a machine gun in there.
It's like, don't tempt me.
If only I did.
And there's also one that's shaped like a cactus as well. Quite adorable.
Laffy.
If it was Laffy, yeah.
Cactus has a smiley face. Um,
The rhino's
Yeah.
kind of cool though.
and then
Is
there's
there
this
anything
kind of
with a moon on it or some
That's
stars?
true. Moon or
there's
stars.
there's
maybe.
one that's kind of like that, but it's kind of a groovy, funky styled case where it's kind of got waves, but in the waves there are like astrological symbols.
I have an idea.
Hmm.
Like, is there just one that's like plain black or plain navy?
Yeah.
Cool. Get one of those.
Okay.
Because I picked up all the tiny little blobs of glass that were created when Carius threw the electric at the sand, that we can decorate it ourselves. Because you've got a jeweler's kit, it'd be easy
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
true. That's true.
And then it's personal, and the glass isn't valuable, so
Yeah, that's very true.
Sure.
I think the only thing she'll do is she'll ask the clerk or whoever is there if there isn't one on it, if there can be like a little lock installed, like a number lock or something.
Okay. Yeah. So the fire genasi behind the desk kind of like pops up, and just for a brief moment, you swear you kind of get images of your old friend and
Auntie
and
Smolder.
caretaker.
Smolder?
Yeah. For just a moment, and then you realize, no, they
Oh.
just have, I guess, a similar style, and
Mm.
you kind of get just a little bit of a, reminisce for a moment. But their hair is kind of slightly different, and as they kind of like brush it out of their face, they say, "Ah, just looking for something simple and sturdy. Then, okay, well, this should do the trick." And they do pull out a dark matte black kind of case, and one that's and then they pull out one that, like you said, slightly navy blue. This one's called Night Sky.
She kind of like gets the cape and she kind of like flips it over to see the blue against it to see if it matches.
They take a little bit of notice as you do that, and they say, "Ah, why are you hiding such magnificent material underneath?"
For reasons.
Very well.
She's like, I
Unusual.
just don't want people to draw attention to it. I don't like crowds.
She's not performing today.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, you're a celebrity.
Yes. Yes. I am celebrity.
I feel bad that I do not recognize you, though. There are so many minstrels.
I haven't played here before, so
She's mostly famous over in the mainland.
I see.
they love someone from the exotic isles. So
Big star.
Many minstrels vie.
cute grin and just like.
She says, "Well, then, I'm sure that you shall make good use of this case. There are
I
many
will, I will.
minstrels. Each of
I
them
will.
try to vie for the prestige of the muse, as they say."
But I think I'll go for the navy blue, please.
All right, and just check. There is a price tag on there for a violin case. We'll say it's going to set you back about 25 gold.
That's actually pretty dang cheap.
I was gonna say in terms of real money.
Yeah.
Oh, I
For a
know, they're
decent one,
probably up.
please.
They're probably about hundreds of quid. But
If you want a decent
if you want a
one.
decent one, yeah. She'll be like, okay, yeah. And has it got a lock on it? Of some sort?
it does, yes. We'll say that it's
Okay.
got just a small lock. It's you hadn't noticed it at first because it's actually shaded in the same color as well. So it's kind of like a bluish
Perfect.
metallic lock.
Hidden lock.
Almost. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll take it.
Normally violins in D&D range between 15 to 60 gold. So I effectively took a third of the price. I think
mean,
that's about right for a case.
Yeah. When you think that my one cost me like just over 300 quid
Yeah, my electric one was nearly 300.
for an intermediate level, that's not even like fancy
Mhm.
fancy.
So yeah, 25 seemed about
Yeah.
reasonable. So, all right, it weighs quite a bit. It's about 3 pounds, but No way, heavier than that. About 5 pounds. Yeah, it's pretty. But it's a sturdy one, so that's exactly what you were after.
This
But,
is
yeah.
perfect. And she like just pops the violin in there. There we go. Hands over the money.
All right, cool. No problem. The exchange is made, and she says, "Then thank you. Please make sure to take a look around the gallery before you go. We have a new section called the hold on. Yeah, it's called the Nine Muses.
Ooh. And the inspiration for it?
Well, of course, it'd be the Nine Muses that the Sultan himself covets.
Okay. So we
There's
could...
many stories and myths about lesser deities who once embodied a certain artistry or craft, and the Sultan makes it clear that everyone recognizes them, not so much worships them, but they are seen over many pieces of architecture, and there's even a holiday for each of them throughout the year.
Definitely worth a look.
Wonder if they'd make
Oh,
a
yeah.
holiday for me one day.
All right.
My brain
So-
thinks of Alphabet.
Yeah.
There'd be a day to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's all because of me.
But yeah.
Not in the right way.
I will have to
Yeah.
go to bed now, though.
No worries.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just wrap it up with you guys exploring the gallery of the Nine Muses, where these high, tall columns, and in between each there are these depictions of these feminine figures, all kind of performing different arts, different crafts, and they're all in this kind of rainbow of colors as you kind of look across. Each one seems to complement the next, and it tells a story about how these muses became known, and the Sultan eventually kind of rose them to the height of notoriety that they are now, and they were welcomed within the Sultan's presence, which is incredibly rare because the Sultan sees no one. But the Muses were the only people outside of maybe royal blood or royal guard that were allowed to visit the Sultan themselves. I think that's where we'll end tonight's session. Nice little bit of shopping and downtime, and we'll pick up next week with some more exploration, I'm sure.
Shopping part 2.
Shopping part 2, who knows? Or maybe we'll see some of the more exciting areas like the arena or the casino, which I'm working on so hard. Casino's going to be killer. Can't wait.
We
But yeah.
never go there.
We will
Well,
be going there.
we're not a gambling group, so I think we might just skip
Nah.
over that part.
When do I ever take risks?
Carries
Yeah.
is a gambler. He's a sailor. They love their gambling games.
Yeah. But no, whether it be arena, the festivals that are all around, or the gambling hall, then I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll find something to do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Tune in again on Sunday for the Witch Hunters as they delve even deeper into the Fey Dark and retrieve the Chalice of the Void. And on Monday with Curse Breakers, we are still in Ravenloft, trying to find Strahd's little diary. I think we found it though. We'll see what's inside. And lastly, on Monday as well, the Tomb of Annihilation, Last Resort Company. They're about halfway through the tomb of the actual tomb itself. And its dangers are getting more prevalent. As victories mount, so too does the threat of death. But yes, thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.